Hello and welcome to my YouTube video. Today we're going to be reviewing the England, Czech Republic and Scotland Croatia games ahead of the Group B kickoff at 8 o'clock today. We're going to start with England, Czech Republic. I think the first thing to point out is the previous meeting between the two sides, which the Czech Republic won 1-0, which was broke a an undefeated record for England during qualification. As you can see, with Mason Mount and Ben Chilwell having to isolate because of COVID, and obviously Billy Gilmore for Scotland, which we'll talk about in a minute, we've got a bit of a changed side up here. I actually think Grealish is a better player than Mason Mount, so I think it's a really solid addition. So I think if we start in England and then look at Czech Republic, who I think have been very impressive during this tournament. Harry Kane starts up front, I think, which is fine. Sterling's fine. I don't know what Jordan Sancho has to do to get a game, considering he's going to be bought for somewhere between 70 to 100 million by Man United, but apparently Southgate seems to think Saka is a better option. I disagree strongly on that. I think Grealish is very good. I don't think, given how the Czech Republic set up and how they've set up in qualifying and in the previous two games, that you need two holding midfielders here. I think Declan Rice fundamentally could have been rested here. I think Calvin Phillips offers you a little bit more going forward than Declan Rice does. I think Rice is the better player, but I don't think it's necessarily. And I think if you wanted to play two, I think giving Henderson some minutes would have been probably my suggestion for a start. Obviously Maguire comes in over Tyrone Mings. Maguire fundamentally is a better player. I know he got a lot of stick for his time at Man United this season, but I think he's a better defender than Tyrone Mings. But once again, it's how fit is he? Otherwise, John Stones, fantastic season for City. Luke Shaw, Kyle Walker, sounded. I think Shaw was the best left back in the country. I think Kyle Walker is good, very good player. I'm not sure he's the best right back. I think he can drop inside and honestly play probably better than people give him credit for in a back three as a centre back. But overall, pretty solid lineup, reasonable rotations. I think it's a bit defensive. I think it could be improved on. For the Czech Republic, pretty much the strongest lineup. Obviously, Podrošnik has been absolutely phenomenal. Everyone was talking about the goal against Scotland, but I think that header for the first goal, Scotland didn't do pretty well with the second ball, but that header was a phenomenal header considering the vision that he had of it and the placement that he managed to get on that. I think his hold-up play is fantastic. I think he's one of the better unknown strikers, I guess, coming into this tournament. And I think fundamentally the Czechs, obviously people seem to write them off because they're not the mid 2000s Czech Republic team, which were just a phenomenal batch of players. But I think they're very well drilled as a team. They're incredibly good from set pieces. Obviously everyone saw Thomas Suchek for West Ham have a phenomenal season. I think Callas at centre back is very good, underrated. And I've been impressed with Mazepust in the tournament and his link-up play with Schricht. And I people seem to think that England are going to walk this game because they have such a good squad, but I mean they've been slow and lethargic in both games. People harped on about how good the Croatia game was, but I mean fundamentally it was Calvin Phillips carried that team and Raheem Sterling. I don't think the rest of them had a particularly great game. I think Trippier played okay at left back, but overall don't think it was standout performance. I don't think England have played particularly great attacking football at any point in the last years, to be honest. Hopefully Grealish might change that up. I'd have much preferred to see Jordan Sancho in and potentially even dropping Kane because he looked a bit lethargic and putting Calvert Lewis up there. And again, I think you probably could have dropped holding midfielders and played somebody slightly more. But centre mid is probably the weakest point for this team. Overall, I think it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if another goal for Schick and he continues on his march towards trying to win the Golden Boot. you know, I is my heart will say England scrape a win, 2-1, but I think, in all honesty, I think it's probably going to be a 1-1 draw. I think England are going to struggle to break them down. I think they're going to be set up too defensively, and they're going to be incredibly worried about the Czech Republic on the break and from set pieces. So that's my prediction for that 1-1. And the next one, the other one, obviously another one dear to my heart, with the Scotland Croatia game. I mean, on paper, obviously Croatia top side. Have been for quite a while though, which does mean that a decent chunk of their team is getting on. I think it's probably worth starting by touching on the Scotland team. Obviously, absolutely gutted for Billy Gilmore to be missing out with COVID. You know, it has won man of the match in this game. He started in every competition, be it Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League, international football. Bit of a resume starter. And I think he's the player of the pitch. Obviously, so slight rotation with the midfield now of McGregor and Armstrong. I think O'Donnell was absolutely unbelievably good, pushing down the right flank against England, and I think we'll need to see O'Donnell have another standout game against Croatia because they're going to be focused on the left hand side. It wouldn't surprise me to see Kovacic specifically trying to marshal themselves to the left hand side, keeping an eye on that sort of underlap from Kieran Tierney. I think I like this preferring rather than putting McTominay in midfield. I think McTominay had a very good game at centre back, and it allows him to basically play the similar role to what Tierney plays on the left, on the right with O'Donnell, and allows him to get forward a bit more and be a bit freer in game on the premise that ideally McGregor and Armstrong will like to help. Grant Hanley is not a solid defender for Norwich. He's a decent championship player, but if we're honest, the likes of Ivan Perisic and Luka Modric are going to be for him to deal with. I think McGinn needs to stay pretty harsh on Modric defensively for Scotland. Just be his terrier-like self and get a lot of feet in. I think Che Adams. It's nice to see Clark realizes he has to start. He's the best striker for Scotland. It's not even close. Lyndon Dykes is solid. Surprisingly played better in the England game than against the Republic with or ground-based game rather than sort of the long ball game they played against the Czech Republic, which I think does not actually suit a lot of these Scottish players, surprisingly. I think also having that mix allows likes a bit more room because they know they can't just assume the ball's going long time, and it allows him to hold the ball up and get those underlaps game. I'm potentially looking at Che Adams getting in behind. I think looking at this Croatia team, it's not team of old, and a lot of their star players are getting on. Brozovic, Modric, Perisic, Dejan Lovren, all pushing it. Modric, obviously, still top class player for Real Madrid. Won the Golden Ball Cup years ago. I don't think anybody questions his quality. I think, but 35 now becomes a bit whether he's got the legs to be playing 90 minutes every game, week in, week out for a full season, then playing national football, etc. I think one of the things that lines up nicely is Perisic. Although he can be a very good defensive winger, not his natural game. He likes to push forward. He likes to play on the shoulder. He likes to take on a man. So actually, him being on the Croatian right, I imagine he's probably going to switch quite frequently. Vlasic, try and allow a bit more freedom to get forward and be attacking presence, and not have to be as defensive minded against Scotland's basically overloaded left side of Robertson. I think Gavidola, their left back, similar to Cal Walker, do a very good job at centre back. Is very, very good defender. I think he's players that's probably not known. I think he's going to be on the Russian side for a long time to come. It wouldn't surprise me to see him again be picked up by one of the up and coming or challenging teams within the Bundesliga. Yeah, I think if Regulon doesn't stay at Spurs front, is going to be the case. I think he's out actually to that left back spot. I walk into a lot of sides. I don't think there's that many good left backs in playing in Europe at the minute compared to days of old. You know, how do I look at this? I think on paper Croatia are probably the better side. I think if Scotland can get the underlaps working and keep Croatia honest by playing long balls to Linda Dykes and Che Adams, I think they've got a good chance. You know, John McGinn's still a very good player for Villa. Villa played a very good season. You know, it's going to require a lot of work on keeping Modric off the ball. As he's shown in the England game, he's not afraid to drop deeper and deeper and deeper and basically almost be in line with the centre backs and pick the ball up. The question is, if he does that, you know, Adams or Dykes go and stand on him basically and make his life difficult. I think if you keep him off the ball, you know, I think Brozovic is a very, very good player. I rate him very highly. I think he's been fantastic for most of his career, and underrated from you know, a UK-based media, based out in Serie A. But I think he's top quality, but also getting on a bit. Brozovic, we've seen at Chelsea, decent player, and does have limitations. Overall, I think Croatia's probably weak point is probably speed, and I think Scotland do have some pace in the team. My heart honestly thinks Scotland can get a result here. I think they can nick a 1-0 win. I think if we're being honest, you would expect Croatia to use their experience, calm it down. Obviously, the game's at Hampden, which is great for Scotland. Really does look, you know, for all intents and purposes, the best case scenario for Scotland to try and get something from this game. But I think Croatia are just probably still good enough. No, I'm gonna go out there and say in my heart, my prediction would be a 1-0 win. But I think if we're being honest, I think Croatia probably end up winning this game. You know, 2-0. They get a goal. Scotland have to open up a bit more, push a bit more, and probably get caught. You know, I think that's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong. You know, I hope I'm praying for a Scotland game to go well, get 4 points. Potentially, I can see the Czech Republic beating England. You know, there's all chance that they could still get second in the. But you know, if you'd offered Scotland third place qualification, we snapped your hand off. So just got to go out there and play like that. You know, and if Croatia perform to that level, they will win. But obviously, I am biased in support for Scotland. So here's my input, my thoughts. But yeah, any thoughts, let me know in the comments. I'm going to do a review session of all my videos and my predictions at the end. While in the same video that I'm going to do a map out of who I think is going to go where once we've finalised all of the group games. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any feedback or comments, or you know you disagree with me, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, hit subscribe, very much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next review video. Ciao.